Dear learners, once again welcome to SWAYAM NPTEL course on library automation and networking. This is week 4, module 4, lecture number 18, retrospective conversion, benefits and challenges. We have already discussed about the definitions, objectives, pre-conversion, historical aspects and what is the need of this particular retrospective conversion. So when we convert in a print mode which are available as a form of card catalogs or the bibliographical details or details of a particular member. So these are all in a different formats. Normally in the traditional library it will be in a traditional format like printed or written format. That has to be converted into a new format, technology enabled format or machine readable format, where you will be able to get a clear idea about how these particular resources can be organized, how it can be searched and how it can be disseminated and how it can be efficiently discovered. When a user experiences enhances, library staff and efficiency enhances, this retrospective conversion having a huge benefit while using all these technological advancements. So when we look at library automation point of view, as we have discussed, it is a prerequisite for doing any kind of modernization in the libraries, as we need to have the data in a converted format, that in a traditional or analog format to a digital format, so that you will be able to use such kind of a resources for lot of benefits for the staff as well as users. So with this particular session, we will be discussing more about what are the benefits which are associated with retrospective conversion, as well as all the challenges. There are many factors to be considered, and these are all we can say that the challenges before us when we are doing such kind of a conversion from a non-machine readable format to a machine readable format. Even if you have proper standards, policies and the guidelines, but we need to have many challenges to be faced during the retrospective conversion. So in this particular session, two major points we will be discussing: benefits and challenges of retrospective conversion. So retrospective conversion is an essential activity which has to be carried out in a particular library. So when we look for machine readable catalog as well as automation or modernization process. So in this particular format, when we use all such kind of a technologies, how maximum accuracy or how maximum data completeness we can ensure, there you will be successful. So in order to make such kind of an activities, as we have discussed, that proper planning and implementation is required. So once you decided that you will be following this kind of standards and you will be making such kind of a process in a particular phase manner, or simultaneously you will do two collections together, or you will be having enough number of technical staff and you will provide training to them and you will complete in a systematic manner and in a time bound manner. So once you have planned all these categories, so you need to proceed with the real implementation. For that, as we know that once it is implemented, there will be a huge difference between the traditional system what you follow and how the user experience enhances after this particular process. For that, we normally call them as retrospective conversion benefits. And with this, we will be having lot of benefits, not only as an administrator as well as the users, having a lot of experiences and having lot of comfortability, convenience once you do the process of retrospective conversion. Apart from that, we have challenges, like it can be technical challenge, it can be logistic challenges, or it can be the challenges which are associated with finance. So these are all the challenges that has to be rectified or that has to be properly plan to reduce the issues. So when we talk about the benefits, there are n number of benefits when we talk about retrospective conversions. Let us discuss one by one. One of the major advantages or benefits of retrospective conversion is enhanced access. As we have seen that once you convert or before conversion, the printed material cannot be searched in that way. Only a particular mode of search is possible. That means when you look at a traditional library system, how the catalogs are arranged, either they will be in an alphabetical order of authors, or maybe the alphabetical order of title, or it can be a call number, or any such kind of a mechanism can be used to make such kind of an order, where you will be having only one direction to have a search. But when we convert such kind of a details into a medium where a computer assisted technology can be used to search and retrieve, the enhancement of discoverability or the enhancement of access will be always there. So in that sense, retrospective conversion will have a huge benefit of accessing that particular material in an enhanced way. The second major advantage is discoverability. That means the retrospective conversion drastically improve or enhances the discoverability of a particular material. And many of the resources, when we go to a closed mechanism or in a traditional environment where you need to get a particular resource only when you physically reach them, and then you find out a particular resource with all the difficulties, and once you get that, then only you will come to know that what it contains, what are the details available in that, whether it is relevant for you, whether you can use it for convenient time. So these are all will come to know that only when you reach in a physical manner. But when you look at the retrospective conversion, all the details are available and it can be accessed from anywhere in the universe, and sitting outside from the campus or from the library, you will be able to get all the resources in that particular manner where it enhances the discoverability of the resources. And you can use all the search strategies irrespective of such kind of mechanism. You will be able to search with any of the keywords, any of the approach can be met by using this advanced search option. And as we know that when you look at a traditional library system, how the catalogs are made, we have a standard catalog form, we call it as catalog card, that is universally accepted, and you use that. And we can't always make a fixed criteria that users will come only with this particular query, or their angle of searching for a particular resource will be the same. So irrespective of that, we need to make some kind of an anticipatory approach that people may come for a particular resource with ISBN number or call number or maybe series or even the title, author, etc. So in order to meet all this requirement, all these dimensions of approach, we need to have accommodate all kinds of entries that we call it as main entry as well as cross-reference entry or reference entries or maybe the pseudonyms, etc. So in order to solve such kind of issues, normally we need to make lot of effort to prepare such kind of a cards to meet the resource requirement for a particular user. So in this particular retrospective conversion, we will be solving all such issues. So what is happening really in the traditional library environment, when you create such kind of a cards in huge mass, you need to have a physical space to keep all such kind of a materials. That means a lot of space is required, or infrastructure wise, if you have constraints, that will be a biggest challenge before you to accommodate such kind of cards which you have made for different approach to satisfy. So this particular benefit of retrospective conversion is you are saving lot of space in that way, in which you are converting all this card to a machine readable form, so that you no need to make a separate space for keeping all these physical formats, so that the considerable amount of space can be saved by the process of retrospective conversion. Another major benefits of retrospective conversion is expanded reach. Suppose when you talk about a manual system, the boundaries are limited. That means we are creating a boundaries for a particular person or a user to force him to come to the library, then use the catalog. But whereas when you go for automated or when you go for retrospective conversion in the standard format, so that will be beneficial for the users. Wherever they are sitting, they will be able to search and discover a particular document which is available in the physical library. So it can considerably expand the search as well as the retrieval of a particular resource. Another major benefits of retrospective conversion is cultural heritage preservation. As we know that when we talk about cultural heritage, it is a pride, and we always see such kind of a categories like we have tangible cultural heritage, intangible cultural heritage. So when we talk about tangible cultural heritage, it can be either movable or immovable. In the similar way, we have intangible cultural heritage where we don't have any physical medium to store them, but whereas we can feel that this is a kind of a cultural heritage. So in order to protect such kind of a materials which are mainly in the form of tangible and which are in the form of a deteriorated condition or maybe in the form of manuscripts, so those things have to be preserved for a long time. So in order to preserve such kind of materials, if you provide access to such kind of a materials where they are liable to deterioration, the use of or the frequent use of such kind of a materials will cause serious damage to the physical material. So in order to avoid such kind of physical contact with the users, this particular material, if you digitize or if you make such kind of a material in the form of a machine readable format, the usage of physical material will be drastically coming down. So it is one of the wonderful mechanism where you can preserve the material for a long time, especially the materials of fragile kind or rare materials or manuscripts or the materials which are handwritten, to safeguard them for a longer generation. Another major advantage of having retrospective conversion is enhanced user experience. As I told you that we will be using this particular mechanism where people can access from any corner of the world. When they are using such kind of an option, they, apart from using from the remote, they have options like attractive user interfaces, and they have multiple options to filter their resources, or they can make any kind of permutation combinations or any kind of such kind of adjustment to make their search very narrow down. So whenever they are looking for some kind of a relevant information which should be very specific, that specific search options in the form of basic search facility as well as advanced search facilities which are available in that particular module, so that this retrospective conversion can largely help them to retrieve such materials in a desired manner or convenient manner. So this is one of the major advantage where the discoverability and the search mechanism in an enhanced form, so that user experience is drastically enhanced. Another benefit is efficient resource management. So when we talk about resources, it has to be organized properly, it has to be managed efficiently so that people will be accessing it whenever they are required it. So for creating interlibrary loan or digital libraries, institutional repositories, this data management is one of the major aspects. So in order to have that data management in an organized form, we should have data in the machine readable form. So in that way, when we speak about retrospective conversion, it is highly influenced by the digital libraries, integrated library system, institutional repositories, data management systems, content management system, learning portals, etc. So you will be able to manage all such kind of materials whenever they are available only in the machine readable format. So these electronic or digital resources will be always having an added advantage of making all such mechanisms in a consistent and uninterrupted manner. So retrospective conversion in that way largely beneficial for all the users as well as administrators to convert such kind of materials into a user-friendly medium. Of course, it always supports the research and the scholarships. So when we talk about research and the education activities, such kind of materials which are available in the closed scenario, users will not be able to access, and they will never come to know that whether a duplication work is going on. So these are all will be a problem. That means unless until you give a maximum reach or maximum discoverability or efficient dissemination process, that particular material will be a kind of dead material. So in order to make such kind of materials in an enhanced way, making a user, those who are using it for purpose like research and activities of education or learning purpose, this kind of method will be highly beneficial for them to access that particular material, to find out the resources in a particular medium which is available. So in all the way, retrospective conversion is highly beneficial for research and learning purposes. Another advantage or benefit we can say is cost effectiveness. That means you are saving a lot of amount in that way, performing the retrospective conversion when you look at the long-term point of view. When you take a short term, it will be costly for you, but however, when you look at the sustainability, reliability, authenticity and the flexibility and facility which are provided to a particular user as well as library staff, the long-term benefit of this particular retrospective conversion will be huge. So in that way, it is a kind of a cost-saving mechanism where you are converting all the printed material into a resource material which are available in a computerized format. And as we know that we are trying to cope up with the technologies which are changing time to time, there are many technologies which are become obsolete and there are new technologies which are coming up. So in order to cope up with such kind of a technologies, to accommodate, to adopt such kind of a technology, to integrate with the existing systems, so anyway computerization is very much required. So such kind of advanced technologies, to use that technologies, we need the materials or we need the details or data in a computer readable format. So in that way also you have a lot of benefits when you go for retrospective conversion. So dear learners, these are all the major benefits which we can see that when you convert a particular traditional library while performing a retrospective conversion to convert your data which are available in print format or analog format to a digital or electronic or machine readable format, these all advantages will be having with that particular library. So I am confident that with this you will be understand the benefits of retrospective conversion so that it can highly impact the library's efficiency in its activities, services as well as user experiences. Now let's look at the point of challenges. As I told you that there are many challenges before you, there are many hurdles, obstacles which are in front of you when you go for a retrospective conversion. The major points are listed out here: data accuracy and completeness, copyright considerations, resource constraints, technical challenges, project management and coordination, preservation and long-term access. So these are all the major challenges before you the moment you consider that we will be going for a retrospective conversion of a manual system to a automated system. You have to solve each and every issues, all the challenges you have to resolve, then only you will be able to do it in a perfect manner. So let us look at each and every point, what it talks about and what are the challenges associated with that, and how do we tackle that kind of problems when you come across while doing a retrospective conversion. The first point is data accuracy and completeness. Dear learners, the formats of a particular resource can be in different. It can be a handwritten format, or it can be a data which is already outdated, or it can be in the form of a degraded records. So any of these three categories a particular document can include. All these areas you will be having some challenges when you decided to have a retrospective conversion. When you talk about handwritten data, so many of the written data will not be recognized by the computers, or even if it is recognized, the software will not be compatible with that particular data. So even if you use OCR like optical character recognition to identify that particular letter, you may be having a difficulty with that. So in order to solve these issues, you should be very clear that the handwritten data should be completed, and you are able to convert such kind of a data conversion tools that need to be used to make such kind of a conversion perfect. And there are many formats which are outdated, as we know that the medium in which it used to store, say for example when you talk about floppy disk or CD disk, so now we don't have a mechanism to read such kind of a data which have been stored in old storage mediums. So based on the, or according to the advancement in the technologies, the medium in which we are using to store such kind of a data may be outdated or deteriorated. So in both the situations, we should be able to make such kind of a challenges to be resolved in the beginning itself. So all in such cases, it can lead to inaccuracy of data. And again, the situations are available like incompleteness. There are many situations where we will be getting a data in incomplete manner. So the situation like missing information, or when we convert we can lose some letters or data, or there are some situations where we will not be having consistency, that we call it as inconsistency. So these are all the major three portions where we can say that we will be having some trouble with the incompleteness of data, such as missing information, loss during conversion, inconsistency. So data may have been incomplete from the start with missing fields or values. And when we talk about loss during conversion, so whenever you are doing this particular scanning or making such kind of a conversion, the data may be lost. Why? Because the technology you are using may be inadequate to support such kind of information which are available in that. And also inconsistency, data may have been collected inconsistently over time, making it difficult to standardize for digital storage. So these are all the major areas when we talk about a data consistency or data completeness, such as inaccuracy as well as the incompleteness of data. So how do we tackle such kind of a problem? So what is the consequence of inaccuracy and incompleteness of data? You may be leading to an incorrect decision because you have partial information, you have less data, you have something missing in that. So you may be taking the decision based on the data available. So you may lead to an incorrect decision making process. Also, it can lead to a wastage of resources because you are doing all these activities, something is missing or there is a divide or there is a gap in between. So you need to fill that. So in order to fill that, lot of effort and cost is required. So in that way also, there is a kind of a wastage resources you are spending on that particular method where we are making such kind of a incompleteness and inaccuracy in data. So this is also a potential consequence of inaccuracy and incompleteness of data. And the other potential consequence is limited accessibility. So when we talk about limited accessibility, as we are giving such kind of a resources to the scholars or the users, so they will be using such kind of a data inconsistency. That means if the proper data is not available, the decision, the research output or the feedback they give will also be a fault. Dear learners, so in order to tackle such kind of a consequences, we have some strategies that can mitigate the process. Data cleaning is one of the methods we can adopt. Standardization, as we have already discussed, that there are many established standards. When you use such kind of a standards, even if you lose or if you have inaccuracy data, you will be able to identify. And there can be a control mechanism, quality control mechanism, so that you can reduce the deficiency of such kind of inaccuracy and incompleteness. And also, of course, manual intervention or human intervention is highly possible. So whenever there is a possibility of involvement of a human being, so need to do such kind of a review process so that your data will be complete, the accuracy of data will be fulfilled. The other major factor is copyright consideration. As we know that many of the materials are copyright protected. So we need to solve all the issues, or we need to have a solution for all the copyrighted issues which are protected or which are under some kind of illegal restrictions. So that has to be solved in the initial stage. So whenever you choose a material to perform a retrospective conversion, the major challenges before you is whether it can be accessible to a public, whether we can use it for free, or do we have some kind of a legal issues associated with that. So in the initial stage itself, you have to make clear that all such kind of a legal issues associated with that particular material has been resolved properly, so that you have been granted all the permission to access such kind of a material to perform the retrospective conversion. So this is one of the challenges associated with retrospective conversion. The other challenge is associated with resource constraints. What are the resources associated with retrospective conversion? As we have discussed that we need funding, we need a technical staff or a skilled staff, and we need time, and we need technology as well as infrastructure also. So these resource constraints will be the major constraints which are associated with technology, funding, or the infrastructure, or even the manpower. So this has to be resolved in the initial stage so that you will be able to perform such activities in a perfect manner. The other major challenge is associated with technical concerns. So there are many points to be discussed in the technical issues or the technical concerns. So these are all the points which we can say that technical challenge associated with retrospective conversion. data standardization and compatibility, automation limitations, software and hardware limitations, data integrity and security, quality control and data validation, staff training and expertise, project management and coordination, and also preservation and long-term access. So these are all the major challenges associated with technical challenges. When we talk about data standardization and compatibility, in short, we can say that there are major challenges under this particular head, such as inconsistent format, data mapping, and legacy systems. When we talk about automation limitations, there can be error detection, and sometimes the data will be complex, so that it will not be compatible with the system or the software or the hardware you are using. So that can be the problem with automation. Software and hardware limitations, such as the capability of a software or the software in which you are using may be outdated, or it cannot be compatible with the present scenario. So there are many issues associated with automation as well as software and hardware parts. Apart from this, we have challenges associated with data integrity and security. It is one of the major challenges when we talk about a particular data. Data should be secured, data should be integrated. So how do we perform this? This also will be a challenge. Whereas we lose data sometimes, and sometimes the security of data will be lost. In both the cases, it will be a challenge for the person who is performing the retrospective conversion. And another technological challenge is quality control and data validation. So the quality of the data in which you are created in the medium of machine readable format should be validated properly. It should be perfect, and it should be checked, it should be peer reviewed. Make sure that there is no data inaccuracies, or there is no data interruption, there is no incomplete data or inconsistent data when you are transforming from traditional system to the legacy system in which you are going to adapt. So in order to overcome all these technical challenges, you have to go for a data validation process, data cleansing techniques, and data enrichment strategies, so that your data will be perfect without any kind of incompleteness or inaccuracies. You can also take the help of expert systems, technologies, or advancement in the technologies to detect such kind of errors, so that you will be making a data validation properly. And the other challenge is staff training and staff expertise. So we always need some kind of expertise when we are going for a retrospective conversion, especially when you are doing an unknown language, when you are doing something which is lacking in between, or whenever you are converting something, the data is inconsistent. So we always require some kind of a data expertise to perform such kind of a retrospective conversion in an effective and efficient manner. So technical knowledge, domain expertise, and cataloging knowledge is very much required in that sense. Also, training is also been a part of this retrospective conversion. So training needs also a technical challenge, where suppose you are using a particular machine, the staff should be trained properly, staff should know the process, the hierarchy, and the step-by-step method to follow this. So these are also need to have some kind of a training, and also making that particular staff skilled in retrospective conversion. And staff motivation also been required. Suppose many of the works which are repetitive in nature, laborious job, so people will not be comfortable in a long manner, they have to be motivated. So such kind of a motivation also need to be required for the staff, those who are performing retrospective conversion. And another major challenge is project management and coordination. In that way also, we should be very careful while doing a retrospective conversion. Complex project management tasks including planning, scheduling, resource allocation, and stakeholder engagement, effective communication and collaboration between the staff or among the staff is also a prerequisite for performing the retrospective conversion. So that is always acting as a challenge before you. And as we have already discussed, one of the another challenges is its preservation and long-term access. So as we know that there are many materials which are under verge of the deterioration, or maybe they will be having some kind of issues with the longevity or the sustainability. So that issues also be a challenge before you to resolve all such kind of a problem. The material in which are available in a fragile nature or deteriorated nature, that has to be converted into a proper methodology. So we always require a collaboration with the experts in the preservation technologies and expertise in the technology in which how do we perform such kind of a dedicated material when we are converting from a print material to online material. So these are all the major constraints which are associated with retrospective conversion. And with this, let me conclude this particular session on benefits and challenges of retrospective conversion. So when we talk about retrospective conversion, there are a lot of benefits as well as challenges. The only way from an existing library catalog to a modern library catalog is the retrospective conversion. So when we do such kind of a retrospective conversion, proper planning is required, proper funding is required, manpower is required, and you have to motivate them, you have to provide them training and provide them, making them skilled personnel so that the performance of retrospective conversion will be smooth, time bound, and it will be with maximum impact of efficiency and effectiveness. So in order to perform retrospective conversion, you should be able to understand the benefits and challenges before you to perform such kind of activities. Dear learners, with this I hope that you have learned about retrospective conversion, its benefits and its challenges in a larger way. Thank you.